And why is it that everyone that takes Spanish lessons only remembers that sentence? Yo, what's up, Nate? How you doing? It's so great to have you here with me today.
Hey, Cole. Yeah, it's great to be here too. I'm doing good. I'm excited. Ready to chat.
Are you ready for the first question?
Let's do it.
All right, great. This is probably the most important one out of all of them, so be ready. Bro, we have to know, why did you say Bad Bunny 50,000 times for a
Okay,
video?
why did I say Bad Bunny 50,000 times? Great question. I had to do it. I mean, out of pure respect for the guy, I was like, you know what? Bad Bunny works hard. I'm going to work hard in his honor.
I feel that. Was that also kind of like a homage to Mr. Beast?
Also a homage to Mr. Beast.
Okay.
I was like, you know what? Mr. Beast is doing this kind of in the English-speaking world. It would be kind of fun to do this for all the Spanish speakers out there and like have a testament to like a popular Spanish-speaking figure. I was like, I love Bad Bunny. Most Spanish speakers like Bad Bunny. I'll make it like this.
100%. I mean, I respect the hustle. That was like a 4-hour-long video. I even clicked on it and then left and did something else just so I could give you the watch time.
Dude, you're my hero, dude. Thank you.
So I really respect the grind. Do you want to just like introduce yourself really quick for the people that may not know who you are?
Sure, definitely. Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name's Nate. And I speak Spanish. A lot of people know me on YouTube for speaking good Spanish. You can check out my channel, Nate's Adventures. And yeah, basically I learned Spanish in high school and it was really there that it pretty much changed my life. And I was like, wow, Spanish is amazing. And then yeah, it's been 7 years of learning, getting better and having fun. And that's kind of who I am. I like to teach and speak Spanish with people and just learn more about, Hispanic culture in general.
Awesome. He'd never tell you guys this because he's super humble, but he has like a near native level in Spanish and
I appreciate that. Hey,
super
I get better
super
every day.
impressive. Yeah, absolutely. We're all just learning a little bit more every day.
Amen.
Cool. And in regard to that advanced level that you've obviously achieved, when did you really know that you wanted to go for that advanced level? Because everyone has different goals. And did something happen in your life that kind of triggered that passion or made you want to undertake that commitment?
Sure. Okay. Really great question. So, it's funny. I spoke with Matt vs. Japan about this because he was very focused on learning Japanese to a very high level. And actually, for me, it was funny because when I learned Spanish in high school, it was never something where I was like, I want to become a master of Spanish. It was really something like, hey, if I'm kind of required to take this for 3 years, I might as well try. And, in that first year, I was like, wow, this is amazing. And so I think getting better each year and also having a lot of Spanish speaking friends to inspire me and like show me, wow, this is really cool. That was kind of thing where I was like, I want to keep getting better at this. I've already gotten this good. I might as well keep getting better. I'm just going to do it. Like for me, it's almost like Spanish wasn't even really about learning. I was just immersed in it. It was like I would go to class and learn the grammar and the structure and all that. But then like outside of the class, it was like speaking Spanish with my friends, listening to Spanish music, asking my parents, hey, say this in English. Let's see if I can say it in Spanish. Like all these things like that. In the shower, thinking to myself in Spanish, like everything in Spanish.
That's so interesting that it clicked with you right away because I also took Spanish in high school. It was the first language that I was formally studying, but it didn't click with me right away. Like after 4 years of learning it formally in high school, I still couldn't really say much in Spanish. But then I got the chance to go to Spain on like this school trip and just seeing that language spoken in everyday life completely changed how I thought about the language and about other languages in general. And that's what really got me into it. But personally, it was just like any other subject for a very long
interesting because that's what everyone always tells me. And I think, I had two advantages. One was that most of my teachers were all native speakers. And then my second advantage was because I had my Spanish speaking friends. So it was like I could, learn the language from a book and whatever and from a whiteboard. And, most people find it boring and all that. But then I really saw the language actually being used and I was like, oh, at first it was shocking to me because I was like, why did I never think about this? Like now I'm making all these weird new sounds and then someone else is making weird new sounds at me and we're both like making these weird new sounds together, but we understand each other. That was cool to me. I was like, whoa.
It's funny when you can break something down to like something that small. Like just I'm producing sounds that you also recognize. Even though you live 3,000 miles away from me, we can still understand each other. And that's so crazy to me.
That's the coolest thing. That's why language is cool. And I always say this, I've said this in like probably every interview ever. And that is like, I love the quote by Nelson Mandela. He says,
I know
If
what
you
you're
speak to a
gonna say.
man in his second language, you're speaking to his mind. But if you speak to a man in his first language, you're speaking to his heart. Dude, that is the most true quote ever. I can't
100%.
tell you, right? Like the amount of times people have given me stuff for free just because I spoke to them in Spanish. Like, why? I always say, if I just met you and let's say you're from Mexico, right? You think I'm just an American, I only speak English. And then I just say to you like one word, hola or whatever. Any word in Spanish. Just by me doing that, then you realize as a Spanish speaker, hey, this guy can, potentially understand me. He's not going to judge me. He can understand my culture. He's taken the time to learn just in that one word or that one phrase, whatever. That's what's powerful.
It takes so much pressure off because no matter how good you are in a foreign language, you're always going to feel that pressure, that tiny little bit of insecurity when you're speaking a foreign language. But once someone says a word or two in your own language, there's nothing like it.
Right, exactly.
Even when I go abroad, a lot of people think that Americans like expect other people to know English. But when I meet someone that's willing to have a conversation with me in my own language, I just get so excited.
Right, absolutely. Right, definitely. It's that heart-to-heart connection.
Absolutely. I'm almost tearing up a little bit just thinking.
Dude, I've been tearing up, dude.
So you have a lot of like native Spanish speakers around you, right?
Yes.
Do you think that you would have gotten to the level that you're at now, or even learned Spanish at all, if you didn't have that large community of native Spanish speakers around you?
That's a great question. I think I definitely would have not learned the accent that I've learned, like the Mexican Spanish that I've learned. But yeah, who knows? It's hard to say, because I will say I did fall in love with the language learning it, but I think if I didn't have access to two native speakers, I would have been able to fuel my fire as much, because I wouldn't have been able to really see the language, how it's really used. Harder to make the heart-to-heart connection through a textbook, right? You need those people to chat with and learn from.
A native speaker is the best resource that you can have, no matter what level you are. And not just for like the advice they can give you, but you're essentially speaking to an encyclopedia of somebody that comes from a completely different world, right? They have so much knowledge to share coming from a different culture. And I think that's something a lot of people don't realize. It's always interesting when you're around a foreign friend, because you have endless things to share with each other.
Right. And that definitely makes you fall in love with the language more. I think you really need to love and be interested in the culture of the language that you're learning, because something that maybe I don't realize or give myself enough credit to is that the reality is like Spanish is a huge part of my life. Every day I'm listening to music in Spanish. Like every day I'm speaking to Spanish speakers. Like Spanish is not some like little like thing that I study for a few minutes a day. It's like a huge part of my life now. And like you said, having those people that you can speak with and that are native speakers and connect with, that's like a huge part of it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Nate, ¿dónde está la biblioteca? And why is it that everyone that takes Spanish lessons only remembers that sentence?
Dude, it's so funny because, to be honest, I don't even know if I learned that in my Spanish class. Like, it's so funny. I love how that is the universal, like, Spanish phrase.
Yeah.
¿Dónde está la biblioteca? Like, I don't know. Yeah, don't say.
If you had to really start from scratch today, like from absolutely zero with your Spanish, how would you approach learning it, or really any other language for that matter? Do you have like a set regimen that you follow or a certain method that you stick to?
Sure. So it's funny because I had never really considered how I even learned Spanish until, I got much better and people would always ask me. I think number one, buy a grammar textbook. I feel like people always overlook this, but the reality is if you don't learn the grammar of the language you're trying to learn, how are you going to learn the language? You can't just learn a bunch of little phrases and then piece it all together. Like you need to know how the language functions. So I would say buy a grammar textbook or like a grammar course, something about grammar where you can learn the grammar of the language, something that's, step by step. Most grammar textbooks are like that, just page by page. It's not the most fun, but that's, I think, the best way of just really learning the grammar. So like I said, textbook or a course. Then you got to start speaking as soon as possible. You need to find, they don't have to be native speakers, but preferably native speakers to speak with. A lot of people struggle with like finding native speakers to speak with. You can go on Hello Talk or Tandem, right? Two great apps that are free for interacting with people from all over the world. Start listening to the language as much as possible. Music's my favorite way to do it. You can do podcasts or you can watch movies. I like music though. It's the easiest. You can do stuff while you're listening, even if you don't understand it first. Also, use a translator all the time.
Oh yeah.
I feel like people don't give that enough credit, but like make sure you have a good translator on your phone, because to this day, I'm translating things. I'm like, I don't know what that is. And also, the most important thing, to have fun. I know that's cliche, but you need to have fun and also realize that it's a journey, not an overnight event. Like when I tell people I'm still learning Spanish, they're like, what? But your Spanish is so good. Like, but like people think you're Mexican, but like it's kind of that growth mindset is so important when doing anything. It's like the idea that you're always going to be learning. And that's kind of a fun idea too.
Yeah, this idea that your knowledge isn't fixed, but rather you can keep increasing it and enhancing your perspective and understanding every day. That's the name of the game for any kind of language learner, and for anybody learning anything, really.
Yeah, exactly, right? And that's kind of what makes it fun, right? It's like, wow, I can always learn new stuff. What's great about the Spanish language is there's so much culture that comes with it. You know, it's not like when you learn Spanish, you're just getting Spain, right? It's like you're getting all of Latin America, you're getting Mexico, Colombia, you're getting everywhere. Like it's awesome.
Yeah, and I tell this to people that ask me like, oh, how should I go about learning like Spanish or Portuguese, for example, is you have to take advantage of the culture. People, Spanish speakers and speakers of Portuguese especially, like they're so friendly and warm and just willing to help you with anything and everything, and so patient, at least everybody that I've met. So it really takes a lot of the pressure off when you go to speak, because everybody is just so understanding.
Definitely, absolutely.
Oh, this is something that I was really interested in knowing. What's the most memorable experience that you've had as a result of learning Spanish? Like you mentioned people buying things for you, and
yeah. Man, it's so hard, dude. Oh man, I feel so silly saying this, but I'm like almost like a little emotional, man, because seriously, I'll get into this, but to think like, seriously, I was just saying this the other day, I cannot imagine what my life would be like if I had not learned Spanish. Like I seriously don't know what I would be doing right now, because there have been so many just like incredible experiences. Going to Mexico, like really going to Mexico for the first time with my friends was amazing. Just wow, it just opened my eyes to the world. Yeah, getting free stuff, that's always funny. Getting free horchata. One time I was led onto a Ferris ride for free, Ferris wheel ride, because I was out of tickets, and I was like, hey man, you know, I'm all out of tickets. My friends, they can go on this ride. I really don't want to be left behind, you know. And then the guy's like, no. And then he started speaking Spanish to someone else. I said, oh, you speak Spanish? And we had a little chat. He's like, oh, you know what? Go ahead. I'm like, yes. You know, this is a bizarre experience, and I found it so interesting, like really profound. One time I was walking around my block, and there was this guy, and he was painting someone's mailbox or painting something on their house. And I go up to him, and I had this really, really basic conversation with him in Spanish. So simple. You know, hey, you know, weather's nice today. Oh yeah, you know, when are you done painting? Whatever, just the most simple stuff. And after we finished talking, I say goodbye to him. Like, hey, well, you know, it's nice talking to you. You know, see you later. Instead of him saying goodbye, he said thank you to me. And I was like, why are you saying thank you? He's like, I've never met someone like yourself who's like taking the time to learn my language, and like I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to me. And like I was like, wow, like that thing, experiences like that just make it all worth it, you know?
that is so wholesome,
right? It's I mean, like I said, there's just so many amazing experiences. I could not tell you all of them.
Yeah, it's really hard to pinpoint one of them when things like this, I don't want to say they happen all the time, but if you're put in this situation, they can happen quite frequently, especially when people figure out that you're American.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Do you have any general advice for the average language learner out there that is really trying to break that intermediate barrier and to go from, say, like a B2 level to a C1, or even to like a near native level?
Sure. First of all, once again, I know it's cliche, you need to be having fun, because I always say one of the most important things when learning a language is to be consistent. Seriously, for the past 7 years, Spanish has been listened to or spoken to every single day in my life. For the past 7 years. Consistency is so important. You need to be consistent. It's like the idea, work smarter, not harder. You know, work on the things that you struggle with the most, but be consistent with them. Don't burn yourself out. You know, have a good time. Figure out learning methods that make it really fun for you, because ultimately when you're having fun, you know, it doesn't even feel like learning, and you're going to want to keep doing it. And yeah, immerse yourself. So try to speak, you know, every day if you can, and try to find native speakers that you can practice with every day. That doesn't have to be in person. That can be, like I said, over something online like Tandem or Hello Talk. Start living the language, I think is kind of the best way to really take it to the next level.
Awesome. I think you gave some great insight throughout this whole thing that will be useful for a lot of people. So once again, thank you so much, Nate. That was awesome.
Yeah, awesome. No, thank you, Cole. It was great chatting with you. And ¿dónde está la biblioteca?
No sé. Guys, be sure to check out all Nate's stuff in the description. He's a fantastic creator, incredibly gifted at what he does. So yeah, thanks so much again for chatting with me again, Nate, and we'll see you next time.
All right, adios.
Peace. Adios. Hasta luego.